Hey people, welcome to the Pathfinder Podcast, and on today's episode I am with Jamie Duyns to talk about his experiences at the URM Summit in Orlando, Florida in November of last year, 2018. Hope you enjoy. So Jamie, what were the main things you were looking forward to the most before the summit?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. I think it's really great that you're doing this. For me, the URM Summit was a collection of a lot of really important things, but for the most part, I was looking to make some new meaningful connections with other like-minded audio professionals. Really try to broaden my understanding of the tools that I'm using and try to validate my workflows and some of the processes that I'm using and refining my current habits because we all kind of have our own way of doing things, which is something I realized very quickly after meeting a lot of you guys, is that we're all kind of doing our own thing and kind of wading through all this, and so it's important to hear what other people are doing and to validate some of our processes and make sure that it's okay to just kind of wing it and that's it, really. So it's been very important for me, but that was one of the big ones.
Definitely can see where you're coming from, because obviously for a lot of people who went there, it was a completely new experience, and some people were at different levels. Some people like making a full-time career of it. Some people were just starting out, but we were all on the same page, and we were all there to help each other out.
That's it. So yeah, that was a big eye-opener for me, was understanding that we're all part of something that's much bigger, and that we all even though we might not be sure what our skill is yet, we're trying to hone in on it, and that we do play a part one way or the other. So that's cool.
Definitely. What were the key moments that stood out during your time at the summit?
For me, particularly the presentations. Obviously, we spent a good amount of time in that hall for the better part of 3 days. So I think for me, definitely Matt Brown's presentation was a really cool one. It was I'm really into drums and recording drums. I like doing that as well. Being a guitarist, it's not something that I get to do too often, but I really liked his presentation. Mike Mowry's presentation also was very key for me, because I'm in the process right now of trying to release a whole bunch of material that I've recorded over the last 15 years. So his presentation really kind of hit home and gave me a lot of things to think about in terms of how I should prepare myself and how I should strategize my releases more effectively. And then I have to say it's a tough one between Bo Burchell and Andrew Wade and John's performances, and their presentations were also very, very key for me. And for different reasons, but I just think that Andrew Wade and John, their story and how everything kind of came to be for them was really touching and really heartfelt. And I think it hits home, and a lot of us can relate to those types of situations because we've either all been there at one point or another or not. But it's just the struggle, and to know that we're not alone, and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I think that was really, really cool for me, for sure. So, and very well done on their part as well. So very, very cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. John and Stephen, similar page as us. They started where we are, and they're and now they're killing it with like all the video content and audio content and the projects that they're working on, and it's sort of, if you put your mind to it and keep at it, then it is possible to do what you want to do in life.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And it's scary as hell. You know what I mean? It's not easy to have to jump off that cliff and say, you know what, I'm just going to go for it, and jump into a world where you're not sure what's going to happen next, or if you're going to have food, you know, and then on your table that day, or what's going to happen. But, hats off to them for making it happen, man, and going through that grind and coming at the other end on top. So that's an amazing story, and I can only hope that I have as much success as they have at the end of the day. So that's great.
Yeah, definitely. The Mike Maurer talk was really good because I was not sure with that side of things. I would just record the bands and I left it at that. But after that, talks with Joe and Mike and Finn's talks, all them three, they were just completely new knowledge bombs that I've just not really taken into account. So I was just like writing so many notes down in my book, and I've since then obviously I've taken it on board, and I'm like uploading content onto that Instagram each week, and I'm doing live streams. And I've the band that I'm currently working with, I helped them with all the information from the summit, and I said, this is what you've got to do in order to like gain more interest from people. You've got to like upload content onto Instagram, let people know what you're doing. And since then I've been checking up on their Instagram, and I have seen more followers onto their page, and they've been taking my information, and it's slowly working. Obviously they're sharing more stuff on Facebook and everything else, and it's slowly paying off.
Awesome, that's great.
And that's all down to that, the guys at the summit.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. The wave has definitely died down since November, but I still feel like I'm riding the vibe that I got from that. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of it is just, it's a real confidence booster. You know what I mean? To be able to come away from something like that with all of these things in your pocket and all of these guys that are ready to support you, and it's just an incredible feeling. And where I'm from, and in my situation, in my city, there's a lot of audio professionals, a lot of musicians, a lot of bands, a lot of opportunities. It's almost a bit saturated. But I came away from this thinking like there's still a chance, like there's still definitely, I just got to keep with it and stick with it, and keep going. And it gave me the confidence that I needed and the boost that I needed to continue to push through, and that's, I think, is very important. So if anyone who hasn't gone to one of these, that's definitely something you can take away from it, is that you will leave this summit, you will leave this experience feeling like a renewed sense of strength and a renewed sense of self, and that you are definitely on the right path no matter what. So for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What were your experiences like outside the talks and stuff, and you just at the social side of things? What were the best experiences of them?
It's tough to pin it down to one or so experiences. I think for me, when I read that question, the whole overall experience for me, just the sense of humility that everyone had that was attending, the overall sense of determination and excitement that we all felt, it was really thick in the air. Like I woke up every morning eager to learn more and to meet new people, and just couldn't wait to get back out there with all these other guys, and just doing what we love, learning about what we love. So for me, it was just being surrounded in a place that was kind of foreign with people that I don't really know, but it felt like it was family, like a family that I was reunited with that I had never met before, kind of thing. And I think that was just really the most incredible experience for me. I mean, I could definitely say, yeah, I had a great time that one night, and we had a sick party, and I could pinpoint a couple of moments that were amazing, but the whole thing generally for me was just it was I'm just elated. I can't really explain to how the feeling exactly, or what, if it was one thing in particular, but it was just the sense that I had been reunited with a family, a long lost part of my family that that I always knew was out there that I had just never met before, and I still feel that. So that for me was probably the most important thing.
Nice one, yeah. I think for me, just hanging out, like going to like Denny's and Chili's, and hanging out with people and going Denny's at like 2 a.m. and just talking to people, just getting to know people a bit more outside of the hotel, and just having random conversations and like bonding over like just life, other than just talking about audio. You're actually talking about each other's life, like back home, like away from audio. So it's like really good to get to know people from outside of the music world and just get to know them as they are, and just like meeting people that I've gotten to know over the last few years, and from all like different countries, and then actually seeing them in person. It was just such a crazy experience, because I never thought in a million years that I would join an audio community and then a few years later end up in America hanging out with a bunch of people who I've met online.
Right. And I want to touch on that, because that's kind of what I meant. Maybe it didn't come across that way, but that's exactly what I meant, is the fact that, these are all people that we know, or that, we've met online, but to be able to go somewhere and all be together and hang out and have that sense of community and that sense of companionship in person is so much more satisfying and fulfilling. To be able to hang out with them and just talk about life and this and that, and then have audio as the backdrop is such a great feeling. And I don't know, I just wish it could go on forever, and I'm really looking forward to Vegas this year. I can't wait.
I think we talked about this, but what was the most valuable talks?
Yeah, again, so it's kind of a tie for me between Matt Brown and Mike Mowry. Finn too, I think, John and Wade and Finn, they're all really close second, but I think Matt's and Mike's were the two most hard hitting for me, because I'm in again, it comes back to me wanting to release my material the proper way, so that really helped me to kind of take a step back and rethink everything. But Matt is just, for my love and obsession with drums, I really love the way he explained how rooms work, and when he did that clap test and everything, and how he could just use his ear to judge how everything's all of that stuff was just really cool, and I found it really exciting so I found myself taking a lot of notes during Matt's presentation. So I have to say, yeah, those two for sure were definitely my two favorite, I have to say.
Yeah, I got his Ultimate Drum Production course last year. I don't know, I'm not sure if you've got that, but he just went to town with all the knowledge, and obviously me, someone who's definitely not a drummer and doesn't know too much about drums, after watching all the videos from that course, it just blew my mind. Like, there's so much knowledge that I took from that. Yeah, it was just great, obviously, like you said, when he did the whole clapping and you could just hear like the room, and obviously he's got the ear, because we all know his qualities with drums, and he was just great.
Definitely a very smart man, and he knows his stuff. And I think a lot of guys, even some of the vets that were there, when he did that, a couple of those little tricks, they're all like, whoa, cool. It made us think outside the box, you know what I mean? Like, you could tell there was a shift in the room when he did some of those things, and it really kind of, you could see all the question marks and all the lights going on in people's heads, you know what I mean? So it was neat to see that, those little aha moments. So
yeah, for sure. I think my main ones were Joel's and Finn's, the whole marketing and side of things, and social media. I just didn't really ever take that into account, so mine was like blowing up. I was like, I can take all this knowledge and take it to the bands to who I'm going to be working with. So I was just loving it. I went up to Joel after his talk, and I was just, thank you. I just couldn't believe that all the information he was giving. I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, Joel is a machine. I mean, I could very easily say he, it's the reason that I went there. And if it would have been a show of 3 days of just Joel, I would have still went. I would have been happy, because the guy is just incredible. He's a a plethora of knowledge. He's got so much experience and knowledge in this game. I mean, they all do, but he is definitely, for me, I consider him a mentor, even though we're not, close or good friends or by anything. I find that I could just listen to him talk for hours and hours, and it's great. So yeah, definitely Joel, his presentation was on fire, 100%.
Definitely, I could go on about Joel forever, because he's like a massive mentor to me as well, and he's basically changed my life with his passion, his knowledge, and he just made me put so much more work into my life and work so much harder. And then the first night I met him was the first night I arrived in America on the 7th, and I was just sitting in the bar area, and I was with some of the guys, and then I didn't know he was coming, and then I turned around and he just walked into the bar, and I was just somewhat starstruck. It was just like, he's like, I've really seen Joe, I'm hanging out with him. So that was pretty surreal, to be honest. But like I said, everyone there have just got so much valuable information.
Yeah, it's amazing to be able to sit and hang out with those guys in person. It was very surreal. I can honestly say I wish I would have got to spend a little bit more time with Joey. I didn't see him too much over the weekend that we were there, but that was one thing that I would have liked to do, is spend a little bit more time picking his brain. But I'll get the chance hopefully this year, so fingers crossed.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, awesome.
What were your thoughts when hanging out with all the speakers? Was there anyone you were looking forward to hanging out with the most?
Definitely. So I got the chance to hang out with Machine quite a bit because we stayed in the same hotel. So my bunkmate, Bryant Flores, and I got to walk back to the hotel a few times with him. We took the bus a few times with him. I went to dinner a few times with him. So we really got to hang out and get to know him really well. Super cool guy. Crazy, like all of us, I guess, in our own way, but just really down to earth, and just such a homegrown country guy, man. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't get much more Texas than Machine. You know what I mean? Like, he's just an awesome guy, very knowledgeable. So hanging out with him was definitely one of the highlights for a few of the days that I was there. I also got to speak to Kane Churko and Kevin Churko. Kevin I would have liked to have more time to spend with him, because I feel like I have a lot in common with him from his talk that he had, just some of the things that he's experienced with, the genres of music. He's really into metal, death metal, and stuff like that. A lot of the bands that he's produced and mixed, are the type of stuff that I like. So I would have liked to pick his brain a bit more. But yeah, I mean, I think just to have the opportunity to be able to sit with any one of these guys is an absolute blessing. And I mean, as far as you just can't put a price on it. I mean, any amount of time spent with any of these guys is worth it. So I have to say, there's not really one more that I would have rather, but I mean, I'm really happy that I got to spend time with Machine for sure. But there's just not enough time in the day, to take away everything, to answer all the questions that you have. But definitely was appreciative of the opportunity to hang out with Machine the most. I think for the 3 days or 4 days that we were there, that was the big one for me.
Yeah, sure. I would say you, but there's just so many, like all of them, that were just unique in their own way, and hanging out with people who have all worked with some of my favourite bands, who just that, who can I hang out with? There were so many people to hang out with, and every speaker was just crazy. Like, I think the three main ones, thinking about it, I think probably was Joey, Joe, and AL. After, like, obviously they're the reasons we were all in America, that the reason why we all went to the summit. So it was like crazy, like seeing them in person. And Joey, after like all the bands he's produced in the past, whether they're like iconic metalcore bands, and I'm like now actually hanging out with him, like I'm in the same building, and we're talking to one another. So that was just pretty crazy moment. But hanging out with like Bob Chell, talking to him about bands that he's worked with. That was like really epic. And there was a moment at the back, next to the pool. There was one evening. There was a Kane and Kevin Churchill, and they were having a talk in the evening, and I think it was sort of people who weren't VIP, and they were just them two answering questions, and Billy Decker was hanging out as well, along with Joey, and yeah, and it was just a really good evening. We all just sat around and asking questions, and everyone was just listening in, and it was just like really great moment, just answering questions and getting answers from like people who are working with the best.
Yeah, I think I was there for that evening. I came in a little bit late, but I caught the end of it, the tail bit of it, and definitely, I have a hard time with a lot of the jargon in the industry because I don't have that education in my background, so I'm really coming into this with a clean slate, and like Joel I love the term that he's coined, my ear is my gear, because I don't need to know anything other than that sounds good, and that's it. But so a lot of the times when these guys are going off and talking about the tools and the plugins and their this and their buses and I don't really know what they're talking about. I have an idea, and like I said, my understanding of it all is coming into fruition exponentially. Every day it gets better, but it's a bit of a struggle still, so I have a hard time understanding a lot of times what they're talking about exactly and how that, or what it means, what they're, a lot of the different terms and different stuff that they use, but all in due time, you know what I mean? So the more opportunities I get to be in front of these guys, listening to them, the better, and that is basically what the way I look at it. Exactly.
It takes time. There's a lot to take in, but eventually it will all sink in, and you look back and you realise how far you've come on. Early stages yet, but have you started implementing anything you've taken from the summit?
Definitely have. I think that a lot of the things I took away from this are going to be a part of me now. They're not going to be like fleeting things. They're things that like a lot of validations and a lot of things that have hardened now and solidified for me. Coming away from this. So I'm trying to really define my skill set at this point. I know what I love to do, and that's mix. I love playing with the sound. I love playing with the tracks. Not as much into recording as I am into mixing. So the whole production side of things will be slowly taking a back seat for me, I think. I'm going to try to steer away from recording bands and try to get as many contracts mixing going forward. So, and that's all like, hypothetical. I'm not there yet, but I'm definitely, that's my goal, is to try and really narrow my, to try and, not wear so many hats, so to speak. Try and pass along a couple of those hats now that I have a bigger network and other people that I can refer to or that I can go to help me with other things. Maybe I can, really focus on what I like to do most now. So that's one thing for sure. And other than that, I mean, just trying to transition out of my day job into audio. It's just it's unfortunate, but it's not. I'm not there yet. So hopefully all of these things will eventually come together, and I'll be able to do that. But the path definitely seems clear at this point, though. So definitely, yeah.
That's great. You got your goals, and you're aiming to achieve them goals, and keep your head down, and you'll achieve them. Looking back, was there anything that surprised you?
Yeah, I think I touched on this a little bit at the very beginning. I was really surprised at how many of us are kind of really just doing our own thing and making it work. It's incredible that, there's a lot of guys that were there that, are just basement warriors like me. They don't have any real formal education. We're just, we started out doing something that we love, and it turned into something completely different than what we expected it to be. But the love and the passion for it is still there. So for me, I was really surprised to see that everyone is kind of just wading through this sea of knowledge and music, with their own kind of perspective, doing their own thing, and there's no real handbook for it. You know what I mean? So that for me was a big validation and a big eye opener, and knowing that it's okay to just kind of guess and not know and just kind of go for it. And that was a surprise to me. Like I thought it was going to be more like school, where you could go in and there's going to be certain things that you have to follow, but there's not. Every one of these pros and every one of these guys that we're listening to has a completely different workflow. They might come together at certain points with certain things that they do this in the same way, but how they got there is completely different. And it's they're all able to achieve the same results in their own way, and it's just great. It's how can I say this? It's inspiring for guys like us, because we don't have to try and emulate someone. We can do it our own way and just have them guide us and help us along to find our own way and our own path. And that's the beauty of it, I think. So any audio business is its own unique individual audio business, and I think that's what I found was kind of surprising for me. There's no real one producer that's identical to another. We're all kind of our own unique artists in that sense. So I think that was really cool. Definitely.
Awesome. But advice to people like on the fence about going to the summit, what would you say to them?
I say, if you have the chance to do it, do not hesitate. I mean, if it's within your power and this is something that you're passionate about, you will not have another opportunity to attend an event like this. It's one of a kind. Other than NAMM, I don't even think NAMM even really cuts it in terms of how up close and personal you can get with these guys, and the amount of content and information that they're willing to share with us about the industry. It's literally revolutionizing. It's an incredible thing that these guys are doing, and I encourage everyone who has a chance to get on board. They've done a lot for me over the last year and a half that I've been involved with them. Not necessarily even directly. I've taken it upon myself to really take this to the next level, but because of their efforts and what they're doing, it's made my job a lot easier, and I'm sure a lot of us can relate. So anyone who's thinking about this or thinking twice about whether it's to the summit or just joining NTM or the URM community online, getting started with this is the best decision you'll ever make, and it's the first step towards you building your dreams and getting the results that you want from your mixes and from whatever you want to achieve in music. These guys will definitely help you with it, no matter what it is, for sure. So I think it's a great thing that they're doing, man, and I think it's revolutionizing the industry, and I'm super happy and super proud to be a part of it, man. Big time.
That's amazing. Everything that you said there was just so true, because I can't add anything to that, because it's doing exactly the same thing for me. Just the amount of knowledge, it's changed my life.
Yeah. And having the opportunity to meet them all and hang out and party with them is a whole other, it's so humbling, you know what I mean? So there's not too many events of this type where you have the opportunity to do that with such great people on top of that, And they run a tight ship too, there's zero tolerance, there's no, everyone that's there is there for a purpose, for a reason. We're all, there's a level of respect, a level of just honesty and humility that is not found in too many other communities like this. And I think that a lot of may catch a bad rep because a lot of us are metalheads, and metal's kind of always been an underground thing and whatever, but it really is such an awesome, great community of awesome people. So I mean, just do it, man. Just don't even think twice about it. Just do it. Get on board.
Great, that's amazing. I think that wraps everything up for this podcast.
Right on, man. Thank you very much, Danny. Appreciate it, buddy.
That was great. I hope you had a good time.
I did. I definitely did. I hope you did as well.
Yeah, it was really fun. Thanks for that.